Nothing happens to anyone that he is not fitted by nature to bear.
What's coming back to the big screen? Gladiator 2. Russell Crowe and Joaquin Phoenix are back in action. Joseph Quinn steps into the shoes of Roman Emperor Caracalla, and Denzel Washington is making a comeback alongside Nielsen and Derek Jacobi. Paul Mescal is Lucius Verus. The filming of Gladiator 2, which shows ancient Rome, is now finished. In an interview with Entertainment Weekly, actor Joseph Quinn mentioned that everyone involved in the movie understood how important it was because the first movie was so popular. He said, "We all knew how special the first film was. Many people get emotional just thinking about it." Remembering Connie Nielsen, who played Commodus' sister, Lucilla, in the original film, Quinn said that having her around on set was helpful for the young actors. Quinn mentioned, "She came to teach us how to act in the Colosseum." He added, "I was nervous, but she was very calm and kind. She's a great person." In the upcoming movie directed by Ridley Scott, as reported by Collider, there's a special tribute planned for Maximus' legacy. Maximus, played by Russell Crowe, was a Roman general. The story revolves around Maximus being trapped by Commodus, played by Joaquin Phoenix, in a coup that removes Commodus' father, Caesar Marcus Aurelius. Denzel Washington is making a comeback in Gladiator 2. Joseph Quinn takes on the role of Roman Emperor Caracalla. And there is more excitement as Nielsen and Derek Jacobi are returning to play Lucilla and Senator Gracchus. Paul Mescal as Lucius Verus, the nephew of the villainous Commodus and the son of Lucilla. He is the biggest threat to Quinn's Caracalla's reign. Gladiator 2 is hitting theaters officially on Friday, November 22nd, 2024. The first reviews for the Gladiator 2 trailer footage have been out online. Critics have been reacting to the footage shown at Cinemacon. Fans are super excited for Ridley Scott's new Roman epic coming out later this year. It stars Paul Mescal, Denzel Washington, and Pedro Pascal. Scott is directing the sequel to the 2000 hit Gladiator, starring Russell Crowe and Joaquin Phoenix. Even though it was announced back in 2018, filming didn't start until 2023. There were some bumps along the way with strikes from the writers and actors, but now everything's done and dusted, and the movie is all set for release. The first footage of Gladiator 2 got people talking at CinemaCon. It's a promising sequel that could be even better than the original, with new star Paul Mescal diving into anti-war politics. Ridley Scott gave us a taste of what's to come in the long-awaited sequel, highlighting how relevant it is even after more than 20 years since the first movie came out. Lots of critics and media folks checked on the Gladiator 2 footage and had some positive things to say about it on X. Eric Davis shared his thoughts on the 5 minutes of footage. He highlighted the wild action scenes like massive battles in the Colosseum, shark-infested waters, fights with savage beasts, and even a guy riding a rhino. People who watched 5 minutes of Gladiator 2 are blown away. There are massive battles in the Colosseum, fights in shark-infested waters, battles with wild beasts, and even a guy riding a rhino. And with performances from Mescal, Washington, and Pascal, it's looking intense in every single way. Strawhead Goofy also saw the sneak peek of Gladiator 2 at CinemaCon and simply said, "Trust me, it looks hype." Jeff Snyder kept it short and sweet with his reaction to the Gladiator 2 footage, just saying, "My goodness." Kenzie Vanunu shared her thoughts on Pedro Pascal's performance in Gladiator 2. She feels like he's going to give it an amazing performance, both emotionally and physically. She's impressed by how good he looks, and she believes this could be one of his best performances ever. Even though she called herself a doubter of Gladiator 2, she confessed that she and Jillian Chellingarian were left speechless after watching the new footage. They were just too stunned to say anything. Jillian Chellingarian shared some enthusiastic reactions to the Gladiator 2 trailer. She mentioned that it was grand and impressive, and she thinks Paul Mescal is perfectly suited to star alongside Denzel Washington. She also hinted at how Ridley Scott has taken the scale and brutality of the original to the next level, and she thinks Paul Mescal is perfectly cast, saying it's like nothing we've ever seen from him before, alongside the legendary Denzel Washington. It sounds like Gladiator 2 is going to be a high-stakes, bloody brawl that you won't want to miss. #CinemaCon. Film Codex provided some specific details about the footage they saw. They mentioned that Joseph Quinn is playing the villain, and the scenes were set to Kanye West's No Church in the Wild. They described a duel between Pedro Pascal and Paul Mescal in the Colosseum, with Denzel Washington having a significant presence. It seems like a perfect continuation of the Gladiator story. Adding more insights into Joseph Quinn's character, Cinemacon highlighted how he stole the scenes as the Emperor. He also mentioned Pedro Pascal's role as the Emperor's gladiator, with fights being even bigger and even more brutal. German Lucier was impressed by what he saw from the Gladiator 2 footage. He said it was the best thing he saw at CinemaCon and described it as every bit epic and bloody as we were expecting. The first Gladiator 2 footage blew me away. It was easily the best thing I've seen at CinemaCon so far, and let me tell you, it's just as epic and bloody as you'd expect. And there's more. Menzel mentioned that film Twitter is going to lose their shit when they see Pedro Pascal and Paul Mescal battle it out in Gladiator 2. Daniel Huot also had some thoughts on the footage. He described it as stunning, with naval battles in the Colosseum. He added that the visuals are right in line with the first film. Later on, Huot admitted that he thought Gladiator 2 might not be great, but the footage changed his mind. He said, "I'll be honest, I've been assuming Gladiator 2 would be a bust, but seeing the cast firing on all cylinders won me over. But after seeing the extended trailer at Cinemacon 2024, I'm way more excited for it now. The footage looked good, and the whole cast just seemed to be doing a great job. It feels like the original movie." We'll get a better idea of what Gladiator 2 is all about when Paramount releases the first official teaser trailer. Exciting times ahead! Gladiator 2 hits theaters on November 22nd. Ridley Scott hasn't always been a big hit at the box office, even though he's made some pretty prestigious films, but his upcoming movie, Gladiator 2, seems to be following a recent trend of success for the famous English filmmaker. The story picks up after Maximus Decimus Meridius' death, focusing on Lucius, played by Paul Mescal, who seeks revenge while dealing with his political past. The Gladiator 2 trailer got a huge round of applause at CinemaCon, showing that excitement for the long-awaited sequel is reaching its peak. The original Gladiator not only won a bunch of awards, but it also made a ton of money at the box office. It raked in over $500 million with a budget of just a little over $100 million. But since then, Ridley Scott's big historical movies like Kingdom of Heaven, Robin Hood, and Exodus: Gods and Kings didn't do as well. However, with over 20 years of anticipation for Gladiator 2, it seems like it's gonna keep the good box office streak going for Ridley Scott. Ridley Scott's recent movies has been doing better at the box office than his previous ones. There's been a steady increase in his last box office return since 2020. The Last Duel, while loved by critics, didn't do so well with audiences and only made $31 million with a $100 million budget. But then came House of Gucci, which made over $166 million with a smaller budget of $75 million. That's a big improvement. In 2023, Napoleon grossed over $220 million, but because it had a high budget, between $150 to $200 million, it was seen as a flop at the box office. In those three movies, we saw some amazing performances from big-name Hollywood actors, but it seems like how much money the movie makes at the box office is directly related to how much the public knows about the subject. The Last Duel was a drama set in medieval France, telling a story about knights from that time. House of Gucci was set in a more modern time and had well-known characters, so it did better. Napoleon is one of the most famous historical figures ever, which is why it made the most money out of 3 period films. Gladiator 2 is likely to surpass Napoleon's box office success because of its built-in audience. For more than 20 years, the original Gladiator has excited fans of history, drama, and action, and they're all eager to see the highly anticipated sequel. Even though Gladiator 2 isn't based on real historical events like Ridley Scott's last 3 movies, it has something even stronger going for it: the legacy of the original film. Ridley Scott's most successful movie to date was The Martian in 2015. Starring Matt Damon and a bunch of other big-name actors, it was a huge hit thanks to its star power and great reviews. It made $630 million worldwide, and since then, Scott hasn't been able to top it. But now, with Gladiator 2 on the horizon, that could change. If the hype around Gladiator 2 keeps building, and it gets good reviews from critics, it might just become Ridley Scott's highest-grossing movie ever. Do share your thoughts with us in the comments below. Also, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Until next time, see you all.